My name is Margaret Ann Windsor, and I was kidnapped at age 2 and brought to Moulton, Alabama, and my ID stolen. I was given another name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey. I married a Childers. And this is Wallace Simpson and a double, an imposter. That there was more than one imposter, but they were married in 1937. My father was already married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe. He never had anything to do with this. The problem was he would not follow orders, take orders from the Illuminati, the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bilderbergers, Kennedys, Joe Kennedy, Roosevelt, etc. And then Sir Winston Churchill became a part of it, and a part of my kidnapping and the character assassination of my father that took him down. My father had an addendum to the abdication that stated should he have an heir, the heir would inherit, and that is and was legal. And so they had to kidnap me. When he had an heir, I was born in 39, and they kidnapped me in 41. My own uncle helped. What I wanted to get to here is so that's illegal. That's not even Wallace Simpson's American Spy. My father's married to my mom. He has an heir. I'm Victoria II, heir to the British Crown, the day I was born. Now, I want to, this was Larry Flynn. I was doing a book in 1978, and he was killed in Lawrenceville, Georgia, by a program shooter, and I was writing about mind control, where you can cure an illness or create an illness, and the Tesla files were stolen back in about 1930, and it's mind control, etc. This is my dad, Edward VIII, the real Edward VIII, as you can tell. My dad. And married to my mom, Claudia Ruth. This is me probably in 1943, and I was 2 years old in 1941 when they kidnapped me. This is a woman that killed her twins, Lina Dempsey. They were born out of wedlock, and they gave me her name. Now, she was killed about 2 weeks before I was brought there, so this was planned. Now, I wanted to put this up. Let me see if I can turn this around and this will go up. I don't know. They may not take it. I've been telling on the videos and all of it about mind control. When I got the letter, I was doing the book, I knew that at the time I didn't know about MK Ultra or mind control. I knew there were deaths that were murders that were happening, and they shouldn't be, but I didn't know it was mind control at the moment. I'm going to say this, go back to, because hay is used in a lot of the murders. Without going into detail here, I can't put all this up. It was back before we moved from Huntsville to Atlanta, and we'd bought a house out in South Park Estates, and Larry Childress, R-E-S-S, rather than C-H-I-L-D-E-R-S, sold us the house, and later he committed suicide by being in a carbon asphyxiation, being in a car and turning on killing himself, supposedly committed suicide. Well, I could go back, and there were quite a few, but I didn't know the mechanism used in it. I found out when I worked for a group of doctors, and one of them was cardiovascular, and I found out that a man who was head of a produce company, a huge produce, over into Mexico and the United States, had a heart bypass, and the doctor had put a chip in the heart bypass. You can control the person's choices or that they make, or was mind control. Okay, programmed them. So anyway, Larry Flint was shot when I was doing the book, and of course that was done in patterns. I had never met him, and he later flies me out there when one of the doctors I'm writing about, Larry McDonald, Congressman Doctor, went down in the KAL that was shot down August 31st of '83 en route from Juneau, Alaska to Seoul, South Korea. Now I want to get into. I'm going to skip because I've done this and put it up and over Facebook, YouTube enough that if you care, you can go back. I want to make this statement here. I cared very deeply for people. I tried when I found out about my real identity and being kidnapped. I found out after I was flown out to Larry Flint's, and he helped me in the campaign to replace Larry McDonald in '83. I didn't win, and I've lived a really rough life all my life, but really since then, like Mr. Flint and some other people said, they made a pauper out of me, the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, and there's been people here in this country who've tried to help, but it's almost like it's okay to do it to me because I'm British. Um, it's horrible crimes that they've done, chemical warfare. They've done a little bit of everything to me, and I'm not going to go further on that. I'm just going to leave that there. I wanted to get to this, and I put this up before, but maybe it'll make sense to you now. Remember the shooting that took place out in Vegas just the other day? Um, they mention, oh me, let me go back. Um, I found myself, I forgot it was on the 20 something last month, and here it is October, but I couldn't pay my rent. And it's a motel, and I can't get a place to stay. I bounced around, like Mr. Flint said, no room in the inn. So anyway, I chose because there wasn't a choice really to go out in the Appalachian Trail. It's off the Blue Ridge Parkway. It's a campsite and a privy, a pretty nice privy for hikers. Then you had a place to get water, and you had a hiker's shack if you needed to get in it. So I chose to go out there rather than not have a place to be. Okay, so I got out there, and I found out, I couldn't believe it, that they had the Blue Ridge was being paved. That long stretch in there, which I'm getting, is right beside the shelter there, just not far, just a little bit. So it's a long stretch of it. I think they paved all of it. Anyway, there's also something else that happened at North Creek campground where they actually soaked me. They had the chemical truck sitting out there. They shouldn't have been there. And everybody moved from the side I was on the night it got so bad, the night that I left. And I had vertigo. The fumes deliberately, they'd turn their light. They've done things, and they're never held accountable in this whole mess. So I had vertigo really bad, but it was other stuff that did to me. So anyway, I've been bounced and made to run with chemicals. I'm allergic to them. I have an autoimmune disorder, and it really affects me bad. And it's not every chemical. It has to be something really bad or in close quarters, like where I'm living. And if the person doesn't fix it, especially if it's been deliberately put there, they're not going to remove it. That's the whole point. So I have to leave or suffer the consequences of it. And I get so sick, I leave. So anyway, I had to go back out, and I couldn't believe it when I got there because fresh pavement's one of the things that makes me so sick, paving. So anyway, about the second night out there, I got vertigo bad, and I think I'm pretty sure that my tent was sprayed, so there was no way that I got in the hiker's shelter, and I couldn't get my head up. Anyway, I was sick. So a hiker came along and took it upon herself to go up. We couldn't get signal, on the phone, and well, I wanted to get I didn't have the money, but I was thinking I might get a cab because I've been here for a long time and kind of know 'em, to come and let me pay them when I got some money, which was, anyway, I won't get into that. Uh, but anyway, she went up there and she called the uh, rescue unit, which takes them a while to get up on the parkway. And then you get the input of the forestry, the park service. So there was a bunch of people and trucks came up there, and they picked up some of them, I don't know who they were, the 3 trucks were. But anyway, they were nice to me, other than it's just been this hell that anybody can do anything. But they picked up my tent and the other stuff, and they put it in the vehicles they put me in, and they took me to the hospital. Now, I'm going to say this, I'm not going to, well, I don't know if I should or not. Maybe I shouldn't. I think I've already put it up there on all these others, but let me backtrack back to when I left in March of 1980 to go because so much was happening to me and the boys, and I thought it was because of the book I was writing and the letter from the FBI. So I called, well, my husband, ex-husband, called his sister Laura May out in Albuquerque, not Albuquerque, Abilene. And she lived there, and now she lives, for a long time, she's lived outside Austin, Texas. Laura Childers Klein. So everything was made okay. I was going to go out there and stay for a couple of weeks, and if she could help me get a job, then they'd help me get out there, or and bring the boys out there. Now then, let me go back a little. When I got the letter from the FBI, I found out at Laurelwood. I went up there because so much was being done to my children. I went to the manager and I said, my ex-husband's going to come back and stay a little while. He went with me. So there was never any doubt that we were divorced. That was the reason. And it was my security deposit. I had lived there for a month, I suppose, at least. In my lease, there was never any question about why he was there. And he wasn't there all the time. His job took him out of town. So anyway, long story short, I got the letter then from the FBI on June 23rd of 79, a month or so later. And when this happened, that I went out to Texas, I was gotten out there under false pretense, let me tell you, with his sister. When I got back, I got out there in about the 8th of March of 80. I called her, and my ex-husband called her, and everything was okay. I got to Mesquite, outside Dallas, Texas. Mesquite is a little town there. I think it's bigger now. As in, Mesquite is where I believe that Eric PADDOCK. Okay, I'm getting confused here because I have been really sick and just got out of the hospital now. Okay, not PADDOCK. Oh, I can't believe this. Anyway, I'm going to put this one up. I'm tired and really been through hell. But anyway, it's the Mesquite that there's Mesquite outside Vegas, and that's where Pollock. Okay, it's horses are kept there, and okay, this is his last name. I'm sorry I'm making a mess, but if you care enough, you can look it up. Not Paddock. I wish I had it down. I know I was going to forget it. Anyway, the man that just shot all those people, he was programmed. That's what I had been writing about. He was programmed. And in this one, they've even told you, I don't know what they're going to come up with. They don't have a motive. He doesn't have a criminal record. He had money. He was okay. So he just goes wild and goes shooting all these people. That's bull. He was programmed. He's innocent. And I want to tell you this. I'm going to use James Holmes, the Aurora, Colorado. They've got him. They misuse the mental health system, which is scary as hell. Excuse me, but it is. You should be afraid. He was programmed. The Grand Theater Massacre a few years back. They've got him in a mental facility, and they're treating him with drugs that are meant for a psychotic or etc. Mind control has nothing to do with mental illness. You have to stop the programming and the mind control. His mind has been taken away from him. He doesn't have a motive. That's the reason they can't find a motive, because he doesn't have one. The motive is with the group that are programming him. I want to go back to Virginia Tech. The 33 that were killed there by the student from South Korea. He shot him, then killed himself. Makes it look like he killed himself. The mind control orders him to kill himself just like the others. And the precision is so perfect in it. This man killed himself after he had shot all these people in Las Vegas. Now, then, there's a lot to do with Las Vegas, but really it's the timeline and the name of the town. Paddock, was that his name? His brother that spoke, they interviewed, was named Eric, and that name is very much in the patterns that I'm speaking of. But anyway, let me go back to Larry Flint. Most of the money that I got from my campaign that was raised for me, all of it really came from Las Vegas casinos. You'd think I was a gambler or something. I didn't even have any money then. Mr. Flint was trying to help me out. They'd made a pauper out of me real, Okay, so that I'm not rambling, I'm just going to say Mesquite, and maybe this will be told. The man was programmed. His brother, if I'd told him about mind control, he'd probably do like a lot of other people, poo-poo it or call me names. I don't know. But let me ask you this. I think you would pay attention to this now. If all you people out there, you had a relative that was programmed, innocent as heck, and was programmed, and he was jailed or she for the rest of their life or put to death, how would you feel? A loved one you had that happened to. So let me see if I can, because I've had some people come on here and call me names. Some were nice, but called me names. I wasn't keeping things together, calling me names. Let me clue everybody. You walk in my shoes and somebody will say, everybody's got a story to tell. Well, that may be true. It doesn't mean that everybody's story is as bad as this one, or they went through holy hell in front of everybody, because that's the way this has been done, in front of everybody and me begging. The law didn't work for me. So now I want to go back to Mesquite. That's where I did the book, and then in 1980, March, I went out to and got to Mesquite next to Dallas, called Laura, and she suddenly said, well, you can't come. And so I have to go back to Atlanta or Marietta, and I found out that the few days that I was gone, my ex-husband, and I've just told you about that. There was never any doubt about a lease or who. They allowed him to move my furniture and everything to another apartment within the same complex, use my deposit, and now then I don't have, they put it in his name. And then let me say this, the woman that was manager that I spoke with all the time, it was Laurelwood Apartments, Bentley Road in Marietta. She made a point of telling me, because I told her about the FBI investigation, and I'm pretty sure she already knew. I'm sure she did. But she made the statement to me that her uncle, I believe she said uncle, was an FBI